Hey guys, I'm Denny Chapman and welcome to the Gun Show. If you follow me on social media, you know that I love PCCs or pistol caliber carbines. I've shot nearly every make and model out there, and you know it's really hard to reinvent the mousetrap, but every once in a while I come across a new PCC that really catches my attention, and this carbine did just that. What are we talking about? This is the Andro Corp Industries Mod 1 Elite AR9. It's a 9mm competition-ready PCC that's ready to rock and roll as is. I've had my hands on this one for quite some time now, and I shot several matches with it, both Steel Challenge and USPSA, and I've spent a significant amount of time with it, range testing various ammunition through it with really good results. Now we're going to check out some of the features of this PCC right after our gun safety segment. Let's take just a moment and review the 4 cardinal rules of gun safety. Very important. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded at all times. Common sense, right guys? Number 2, never point your gun at anything you're not willing to shoot or destroy. Common sense as well. Number 3 is your trigger finger. That's your best safety. Keep that finger away from the trigger until you are ready to fire. Number 4 is your target. Always know your target. What's in front of, beside, around, and behind that target. The 4 cardinal rules of gun safety. Very important. We hope you memorize them if you don't already know them. All right, here we go, guys. Let's take a closer look at this PCC. First off, I want you to know it is super light. When I say light, I mean light. This PCC is under 5 pounds empty. Not just under 5 pounds, it's 4 pounds, 8 ounces right out of the box. This is virtually unheard of in PCCs in this industry. This is a huge advantage in action shooting sports when we have to run from one position to another position and transition on the move with the gun between targets. Now, when we run from one spot to another in a USPSA match, especially when there's some distance to cover or if we have to run quite a ways, we actually use a technique where we let go with our support hand and we run with this strong hand grip only for balance. And if this looks like I'm having a really easy time with this, I am, because this PCC is so light. It's really incredibly light. Having a light carbine like the Mod 1 Elite really makes this so much easier. It feels like a pistol in your hand when you're one-handed, when you're running one-handed. It's very well balanced. They did a great job engineering this PCC, which is an additional advantage, the balance that is. Now, let's talk about this barrel. It's very interesting and very unique. This is one of the reasons why this PCC is so light. This is actually a shrouded 5-inch barrel. The barrel has a 1 in 10 twist, by the way, which is just right for our ammo. Here's 2 types of ammo that I tested. 115 Fiocchis, which are a little on the hotter side, a little higher power factor, and 150 Syntech. This is kind of my, I call it my cat's meow. Here's the ammo that I really love to shoot, very soft shooting. The twist stabilized all this ammo. By the way, I ran about 5 different types of ammo through this PCC with really good results. The shroud on this barrel is pinned and welded. It's permanently attached to the barrel itself. It extends to 16 inches, and the shroud actually has an integral comp. Now, ACI put a lot of thought into this barrel. And you know, 9mm really doesn't need a long barrel to stabilize or be efficient. I mean, let's think about it. How many 4-inch barrel 9mm pistols are there out there? A lot, right? So it doesn't need that much barrel to stabilize. When you start adding more length, that just increases velocity basically and increases your distance basically. So it just makes sense really to build a shrouded barrel like this to be lighter and to accommodate a handguard, which gives you the surface area for your third point of contact. Think about that. When I say third point of contact, I'm talking about 3 points of contact. First point of contact, second point of contact, third point of contact right here. So your third point of contact. Now, if this was an SBR or a pistol, the barrel would be really short. You'd be gripping it way back here. And you see how that I look uncomfortable? I am uncomfortable. This is much more comfortable for me. By the way, this is a technique that I use when I'm shooting. I will grip the handguard. I will point my finger at what I want to aim at, and it just gives me a very natural point of aim. I do the same thing with shotguns and other guns. And this is a technique that I would suggest to you if you haven't already developed a successful technique yourself. The barrel portion itself is 416 stainless steel. The aluminum shroud has a very nice black anodized finish, and it's covered by this 13.7-inch hybrid M-LOK handguard. Now, I love M-LOK because it gives you the capability of mounting lots of different accessories. These are the M-LOK slots. They're everywhere. And the cool thing about this is it has a lot of slots, which also means that the handguard itself is going to be a little bit lighter. And just think about it. The more holes there are in the middle, the lighter it's going to be. So this gives you the ability to mount a hand stop, maybe down here if you like, which is a little apparatus down here that gives you some feel so that you know not to stick your hand too far out there in the danger area. Gives you the ability to mount accessories if you want to rig it out as a home defense carbine or a truck gun with a light, a laser, another aiming or illumination type of device. And this is something I really appreciate about this handguard. It's got this rail portion here on the front end, and which is just perfect for a removable front sight. I've got a set of Stricklands I think I'm going to throw on this PCC and shoot it in the PCCI division of Steel Challenge, which is pistol caliber carbine iron sight division, and see if I can't get another classification in USPSA, Steel Challenge, that is. I shoot so many different sports, it's hard to keep track of all of them. I've got this one rigged out with a couple of Holosun sights. I got my 510C as my main sight. My offset sight is my 507C. If you look back at if you wonder why I run an offset sight or don't understand the concept behind that, I have addressed that in some previous content, so you can go back and look at some of the other gun show episodes on YouTube and you can find out. By the way, I want to talk about these uppers and lowers here. You see, they look quite unique. This is called skeletonized. When we skeletonize these bits and pieces and receivers on guns, we're actually cutting out a lot of extra weight. The receivers are 6061 aluminum. That gives them the strength that they need, but it also lightens up the overall weight even more and even further with the cuts. And by the way, I couldn't find any sharp edges on the receivers or anywhere on this carbine whatsoever, and I found the overall fit and finish to be very, very nice. I also want to point out that ACI added a really nice integral beveled mag well right here in the receiver that really helps with mag changes. Now, as with any AR style firearm, this PCC is very easy to disassemble and maintain simply by punching the rear takedown pin. Let's take the chamber flag out. And this gun has been cleared, no magazine, empty chamber. Always check twice, you can never be safe enough. Magazine is out, chamber is empty. So we're gonna release the bolt forward. We're gonna punch out that rear takedown pin here. And what you're gonna find when you open the action, we're gonna leave the front pin in and just let it hinge forward. You have to put a little bit of effort into opening it up. It really grabs, and that's a good thing. You don't want an upper and lower that are rattling around, or you can see a lot of space in there, because it's not going to be as accurate, and it's just not going to stay as clean, and it's not as good. So I really like the fact that it has a tight fit. Now we're going to pull out this BCG here. Let's talk about this BCG just a second here. This is a nitride coated Glock cut bolt carrier group. So this gun, the magwell, the bolt carrier group is all optimized for Glock magazines, which I love. I run Glock platforms anyway. I have a bunch of Glock big sticks. I got my Taylor Freelance extra capacity base pad here. I've got a 43 round capacity in this particular magazine, and I tend to run these type of magazines a lot in my PCCs. The bolt carrier group itself is weighted and tuned to run with a variety of ammo. We talked about that before, and I've put a bunch of different type of ammo through this PCC, all the way from 115 grain factory loads, as an example, this Fiocchi, and other loads as well. I've ran like 5 or 6 different types through it, all the way up to 150 grain Federal Syntech, which is very soft shooting, but it really operates different. And you know, PCCs can be finicky sometimes. Sometimes you have to tune them. You have to tune the bolts, you have to tune the buffers, you have to tune the springs to make it work with different types of ammo. But what I found was that this particular PCC ran all the types of ammo that I ran through it flawlessly and without any problems whatsoever. Let's take a look at this buffer. This is a standard PCC style buffer, standard style spring. Nothing too fancy about that, but what I would like you to know about is the fact that it has a carbon fiber buffer tube here. That's really important. Carbon fiber is very strong, but it's very light, and it helps to keep the weight down and add balance to this carbine. So it's not only important for these things to be light, but it's important for them to have the proper balance, because if you have too much weight in the back end, too much weight in the front end, it's gonna feel a little funny while you're running around shooting a USPSA match with it or using it for some other purpose. Now keep in mind, this is a mil-spec charging handle that we have here. But the cool thing about ACI, Andro Corp Industries, is they will customize any of their platforms to your liking. So this is how this gun comes. I've run it just like this in competition with no problems whatsoever. But if you wanted an ambi charging handle, like maybe like a Radiant Raptor, for instance, no problem. They could even add other items like an ambi safety or a different trigger, although I would like to point out that this CMC 3.5-pound trigger that comes with this model is just fine. Functions very well for me in competition. I really like the flat face on this trigger, and I use a very similar CMC trigger on one of my other AR setups as well. Let's go along the back end here. On the back end, we have one of my favorite stocks in the whole world, the Mission First Tactical Minimalist. I really like this buttstock for competition. It's great quality. It has just enough surface area that you need here for contact on your shoulder for a cheek weld. It is super light. These buttstocks weigh about 6 ounces by themselves, so they really help keep the weight and balance of the Mod 1 Elite in the right place. Now, by the time you customize a PCC for USPSA or Steel Challenge, or you buy a high-end PCC with all the bells and whistles available, you can easily spend $2,500, even up to like $3 grand. Ask me how, I know, because been there, done that. This PCC is ready to roll at just under $1,600. It's gonna be nearly impossible to find another competition-ready PCC on the market with all these features at that price, especially in this lightweight format. So if you're in the market for a competition-ready PCC or a personal defense carbine, check out ACI's Mod 1 Elite AR9, and you won't be sorry. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit those buttons, like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'm gonna put this PCC back together, and we appreciate you watching. Be safe out there and go out there and enjoy your Second Amendment rights.